'cause I'm here to stay. I'm here to stay.
5 wins in 7 has seen us go back looking up the League One table, and we are hoping for 4 straight away victories for the first time since September 2011. But today could be our toughest test yet under Dean Holden, as we face a side who are not only in the playoff places but are possibly going for an automatic promotion one. Before Tuesday, Derby County had won 6 home league games in a row, which propelled them into a possible contention for a top 2 spot. But Lincoln were able to halt that run in midweek. And we will, of course, be looking to do likewise this afternoon. Lots to get through ahead of kick-off in Derbyshire. Here's a taster of what's to come. As always, we'll hear from manager Dean Holden, who spoke to Terry Smith shortly after arriving at Pride Park early this afternoon. We'll also, by the way, hear from Derby boss Paul Warner, former teammate of mine, on the job he's doing and the battle ahead for the Rams today. And we'll also hear from defender Ryan Innes, who made the most of last weekend's red card being rescinded by helping his team to a clean sheet at Forest Green on Tuesday. We're delighted to say Curbs and Brownie are with me today, although we have to say, Curbs, we didn't quite know that you'd make it on time. You're normally here an hour earlier. What happened?
Don't panic.
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering. What happened?
I'll never miss it.
We wouldn't normally panic, but we did call you 4 times.
Yeah, I know.
Who doesn't have hands free these days? Seriously.
Someone who's had his car nicked.
He not only doesn't have hands-free, he doesn't have Google Maps, does he? He went the wrong way from where he went as well, didn't he?
Have I gone the wrong way? That's because I'm over this side, right?
Yeah, you got lost, didn't you?
I got lost.
Got lost.
Yeah, you did the A20 instead of the A2 from where you were anyway.
Never mind.
Honestly,
you're here now.
If it's not the Blackwall Tunnel, it's
the Dartford.
I'm really glad you're here anyway, Curbs. I'd have been with Brownie the whole time, which obviously would have been like back in the day, really, wouldn't it? Back to the youth team days, let alone the first team days. Look, Tuesday, of course, we tried some vegan dishes. So today, we're playing Derby, the Rams. You're going to be sample some sheep's wool-based products. Is that okay with you both, yeah? A little bit later on?
Well, it's better than vegan stuff, isn't it?
As long as it ain't that stuff that Tracy and Dean ate.
There's no pigs anus, don't worry about that. But we going vegan, chaps, or what? You know, did that give you a little taste of,
no,
actually we can live without meat?
No.
I wish you'd have warned us on this, because the answer's categorically no.
OK, let's move swiftly on, shall we? Looking at Tuesday, I think it's fair to say it wasn't a vintage performance. We got away with 3 points, really, didn't we? But a win's a win, isn't
Listen,
it?
you have a couple of them during the season and you hope it goes your way, and it's gone our way, and it's probably gone our way because of the run we're having. You know, you make your own luck, and it wasn't the best, was it? It was tough. It was a tough watch, but we got the 3 points.
And how pleased will Dean be then? But, you know, from a managerial point of view, you've seen your team not play well against the worst team in the division, yet you've come away with 3 points.
Yeah, and you can say that, the worst team in the division, but apparently, you know, Duncan Ferguson, it's the best they played. You know, and they did put up a decent show, but listen, we got the 3 points, we move on. And, you know, today and next week against Sheffield Wednesday, it's a couple of real testers. And I just said to Brownie, you know, sometimes they're the games you need. You know, no disrespect, Forest Green away as opposed to Derby County away is a big difference, isn't it? And, you know, the players should be up for this now. You know, we're playing without any pressure, I think. You know, sometimes that don't work, but you're playing without any pressure. So let's hope they can go and enjoy themselves today and put in a performance.
Look, the positive, Brownie, was that we didn't play well and yet came away with all 3 points. Maybe early in the season we might have buckled and got a draw or even a defeat. But we play like that today.
Yeah, it could be problematic.
It could be problematic. But is it one of those where we're better against the better sides?
Maybe, because they're being forced on the front foot to win these games. Their home record is phenomenal. And so they'll want to be on the front foot, which does leave them exposed on the counter-attack, which is when I think we're at our best. You know, our 2 wide players are the key normally to us having good performances. I think if they're on top of their 2 individual battles, we invariably are on top of the game. If they're snuffed out, I think we struggle a little bit. So I think the counter-attacking game could come into play today, because I think we're going to come under pressure. Whereas Tuesday night, Dean made a good point. I read in one of the interviews, which was they're fighting for their lives. You know, which maybe I didn't take into account after the game. It was just such a flat second half performance. It was easy to be critical of that. But they got nothing to lose at this point, Forest Green. They had to go for it. So that does come into the equation. There's a different pressure for Derby because they're trying to maintain a playoff spot. So they've got to come out on the front foot as a home team and try and win this one, which may allow us to counter-attack.
OK, Derby County versus Charlton Athletic has a good ring to it, that one, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think if anyone thinks about this league, you know, from perhaps the lofty heights of the Premier League or looking down at this league, this fixture, you know, 2 big clubs. You know, two 30,000 gates roughly. You know, two big stadiums, two big histories. You know, this is this league at the moment.
And of course, Brownie, you want to get it out there at some point. The last time.
Well, so does Curbs.
I didn't know, did I? Till he told me.
He didn't know, he knew. Last time Charlton beat Derby.
Yeah, 99. It was put out this morning, I think, on one of the media outlets. And I think Hunt scored them. They showed the Pringle goal, which was a late goal, counter-attacking, in behind the back line and smashed it in. And it was a 2-0 win in 99. I can't believe that's the last time we won there. Incredible, isn't it?
Unbelievable. OK, let's hear from Dean Holden, who arrived at Pride Park, and Terry Smith spoke to him a little bit earlier.
Dean, we're here at Pride Park, and today's team news that you've made 3 changes for this afternoon. Purely tactical, or is it because of the number of games in the week and giving players a little bit of a rest?
A little bit of both, I think. Michael's comes in from the start today. He got some minutes the other night, and pleasing that we can get him in from the start today. I think if you look at Gavin Kilkenny, he's not played a lot of football this season, so in a 3-game week, and obviously the same with Chucks, it was his first league starting excuse me, in over a year. So yeah, there's a little bit of both really, but the important thing is that we come here today with some confidence and some belief, and we're looking forward to it.
You said on a press conference that maybe a bit too soon for Miles. Is that the case, and hasn't travelled? That's
true, yeah. Yeah, Miles, he's back with the guys at the training ground. Hopefully we'll get him ready for the Sheffield Wednesday game.
I suppose you haven't had a chance to go out and look at the pitch, but are you expecting it to be in good condition? The stadium's lovely. It should be a good afternoon.
Yeah, I said to the players, I'm jealous of him a little bit today. These are the types of games you want to be playing, certainly in this division. 2 of the biggest clubs in the league going against each other. I don't think there's a great deal between the teams on any given day, and for us, as I say, we've focused a lot, of course, in terms of team organisation and tactically since I've been in the job, but we've focused heavily on the mindset and the belief and the confidence. I've asked the players, I've told the players to come here today and really puff the chest out and really believe that we can come here and get something.
Yeah, lots happened since the game at the Valley between both Derby and us. That game, sort of a game of 2 halves. I know it's a cliche, but they almost battered us in the first half, and then we did the same to them in the second. You can't really draw anything from that game, can you?
No.
Simple enough. Good luck today.
Well, I think he was told there, wasn't he? No, can't take anything from that game. There's a lot of changes, managers as well as players. But 3 changes for us from Tuesday. Michael Hector makes his full Charlton debut. He's in for Innes. Albie Morgan is in for Kilkenny. And Macaulay Bonne comes in for Chucks. And you have to say all 3 of those are on the bench. So what are we thinking, Curbs? Where do you want to go first? Michael Hector coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think it was only a week ago that Dean said, he wasn't 100%, nowhere near it in terms of match fitness, because he ain't played no football for a long while. Must have really impressed in training. Come on, done all right when he came on the other night. I can understand the midfield one, because I think they put so much in, and Kilkenny's only just arrived, 2 games on the spin. Macaulay Bonne, who I suppose it's because they just cannot risk Chuck starting again. I suppose you can see that one. But the other one what surprised me is that Lucas Ness. I mean, you're talking about a young boy who's played every game now, virtually since Dean's been here. And what a vote of confidence that is. They're partnering him now at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Almost like he's the number 1 partner,
Yeah.
and then someone else alongside him.
Yeah.
Brownie, Michael's been a long time since he's been at the club, any club, obviously, before he joins Charlton. It is a big game for him, isn't it? I mean, he's a big game player, but he's played in massive games, but it's a big one.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to use every ounce of his experience here to get through this one, and they might switch it over. They might put Ness inside Sessegnon and Hector next to Clare, because if you look at Hector and Sessegnon, if they play like that, they've got 1 game between them in the last... Well, Hector hasn't played at all, and Sessegnon's played once in the last couple of months, so they might flip that over. So you've got, the pace and the stamina of Ness in between the pair of them. But yeah, look, when you have long periods of time out, the first game's actually fun enough. You get through, you know where I'm heading. Yeah, and it's the second and third one that kicks in, and you hit
it's
a brick
normally
wall.
game 3 to 6 where you're running in treacle, and then you get the fitness after that.
So he may get through on adrenaline alone today, Hector, but it's a big ask.
And just from your point of view as well, Macaulay in for Chucks?
Yeah, we know the issues Chucks have, so no surprise that he came out the side today. He looked a bit wooden, didn't he, stiff when he went off after 60. So no surprise there in terms of Bonne coming in. Bonne needs a performance for me, for himself, not for anybody else, but for himself. He needs to get himself a goal, or at least work the back 4 and try and cause a bit of trouble up there. I think it's going to be a tough one today, mate. The stats bear it's going to be a tough old game for us.
Absolutely, but we have got game changers coming off the bench. Let's have a look at the league table now, shall we? And we moved up one place to 11th at the expense of Exeter by winning at Forest Green. Exeter were held at home by Shrewsbury, who saw their own 6-game winning run come to an end. Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday remained in the top 2 by beating Oxford and Morecambe respectively. Bolton rose to 3rd by claiming their second 5-0 win in just 4 days. They beat MK Dons. Below the playoffs, Portsmouth returned to winning ways by scoring a stoppage time winner against Burton. We would be 10th heading into today's matches if they hadn't scored that goal. And Curbs, look, Bolton up to 3rd now. Do you think anyone can break into the top 2, or do you think there's still a big enough gap for them?
I think you're going to get someone break into it, I think. I was a bit dubious before, but I'm just looking at, and I know Brady said it the other day about Plymouth, that they just seem to keep going and going and going, but I think one of them will come under pressure. I don't think it'll be Wednesday. So if anyone's going to get caught, I think it might be Plymouth. And I mean, just look at 2nd to 5th. Sheffield Wednesday, Bolton, Ipswich and Derby. That's what I'm saying, the strength of this league. I think people forget how strong this league is, but there's still a bit to do. I mean, they are in pole position, them two, Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah. If the season had started January the 1st, then we'd be 5th at present. But then if my auntie had an Adam Dapple, she'd be my uncle, wouldn't she? But should we have encouragement and be a little bit optimistic going from here on in towards the end of the season?
I think you have to. I think the way Dean attacks his interviews, which, you know, if you look at him in one perspective, you're like, oh, it's a bit enthusiastic, you know, from where we've been and where we are in the league. But he has to come across like that. He's selling that to a dressing room. We can be a little bit more honest and open about what we feel. He's trying to sell every week a performance, a result. And the only way he can do that is by keeping an eye on that 6th spot. It's highly, highly, highly unlikely, but he has to go into the dressing room to get that side to respond and go for it. I don't think Plymouth are going to falter.
No?
I don't, Curbs. And do you know why? I've had this conversation during the week with somebody, and I just said last year they were starting to fall away at this point, and I think they've got a slightly stronger squad this year in terms of the strength in depth, and they made some good signings in January, and I quite like the manager. I think he's got something about him that he's going to get it over the line. So the reason I've said all that is because that means I think Plymouth and Sheffield will do it, which means you're going to have, you know, out of Bolton, Ipswich, Derby, Barnsley, only one of those is going to go up. So it's still going to be a relatively strong league next year for me. I think it's, you know.
And the ones that come down.
And you've got, you know, the Wigans and Huddersfields are in trouble at the moment,
It's not getting any easier League One, is it, to get out of? Let's have the look at the fixtures today. It is a full programme in League One. We could go above Portsmouth today if we can better their result. They're at Lincoln. We'll also be looking to close the gap on Peterborough. They're at Morecambe, who could lift themselves out of the relegation zone with a win. The top 2, Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday, both have home matches up against Fleetwood and MK Dons respectively. MK Dons, remember, got thumped 5-0 during the week. We, of course, play Wednesday next here at the Valley. While 3rd place Bolton have faced a test of their promotional credentials, they travel to Wycombe, who have won the last 4 league matches and beat our opponents for today, Derby, last weekend. Any standout games for you there?
I think that one.
I think
that one.
Yeah.
Wycombe versus Bolton, because both teams are going into it, I mean, in amazing form. And I think a bit of a statement if Bolton go and get a result there, that'd be the top 6, I think. Yeah. Moving right away, because Wycombe are just underneath it, aren't they?
Ipswich have dropped to 4th since Tuesday. They haven't won any of the last 3 matches. They play Forest Green this afternoon. 1, do they have to win today? And 2, there's tributes at Portman Road for Sir Bobby Robson, who would have been 90 today. Yeah. And someone who you knew very well as well, Curbs.
Yeah. I didn't know that. It would have been 90, yeah.
Some nice clips actually out there, aren't there, floating around.
I'm in his book.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, in one, I don't know how many books he did, but I was an 18-year-old scrawny kid marking David Rocastle. And he said he came to watch David Rocastle and ended up waiting for me behind after the game, and I was always one of the last ones to come out. He could have just left and then left a message. Are you English, son? I said, yes. He said, right, I'll get you in the under 18s. Yes. And he did.
I've got a few stories.
He didn't have to do that.
A little smile. I've got a few stories. I've got a few stories. One of them was, I can't remember what it was. He gave me he presented me with something here, 500 games or whatever, I can't remember what it was now. And as we're having our photograph done, he sort of said to me, how many games is this? I said, well, I think it was 500. He went, don't know how many I've had. I went, well, I don't know how many you've had, Bob. He went, I'd have to look that up. Someone must have to give me something at some stage.
Never received anything.
No.
Oh, legend.
And he was the one. I took Richard Rufus. We got time.
Always.
Right, so under 21s were going off on tour at the end of the season, and Richard was injured, but you had to go and prove he was injured because Pick was pulling out. So I took him to Bisham Abbey, and the England team was training. Terry Venables was training, Gazza and all them. So he got assessed. Yeah, you're unfit, Richard. Right. So I said to Richard, let's watch the training. And he went, no, I've got to go somewhere. So he bolted off. He didn't want to watch England. So I'm watching the training, and Bobby Robson was there. And he came home and started talking to me. And he said something about, I won't say who the manager was, but a manager had gone 11 games without winning. And he said, what would you have done on your 12th? And I thought, oh, this is a bit of a question from Sir Bob. And I went...
Did you feel the pressure?
Yeah, a little bit. Went a little bit. I went, well, you know what? He went, I'll tell you what I'd do, son. I'll play 11 fucking defenders and I won't get beat. And I've always remembered that, you know. A little bit of advice, but yeah, all right, Bob.
I've actually used that a couple of times as well when the manager under pressure that he told you that, and I used that as well.
Don't lose your next game.
Yeah, absolute legend of the game, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of celebrations at Newcastle as well as at Ipswich. Quick one here, 3 game a week. How difficult is that? That third game?
It's lovely if you're winning, you know that, don't you? You know, and the only disappointment at the moment is, we're talking great about the away form. We actually, not done too well here, and that's what the fans need to see. So if we can get a decent result today and bring that into the Sheffield Wednesday game at the weekend, well, there'll be a proper atmosphere here. And, Dean, I don't think Dean's possibly seen a proper atmosphere here. So let's hope we get the result today and we can bring it back here next Saturday.
Absolutely. OK, quick break from today. Let's get to club news updates now, shall we? And we'll start with ticketing news. Seats for our Sky Bet League One match against Sheffield Wednesday next Saturday, February the 25th, are now on priority sale. That means that you can only buy a ticket if you're already on the club's ticketing database. This restriction has been introduced. Curbs, you won't be surprised, the Sheffield Wednesday have already sold out their away end allocation. Promises to be a fantastic atmosphere, and you can get your tickets now by heading to booking.cafc.co.uk or by calling the ticket office on 0333 014 4444. Next Saturday's match will also be Charlton's first ever Greener game. The club will join forces with the front of shirt partners RSK, University of Greenwich, and our community trust to encourage players, staff and supporters to make more environmentally friendly decisions. Further information on how you can get involved will be announced in the coming days. After next Saturday, we have 2 league home matches to come in March. First, we host Accrington Stanley on Saturday, March the 11th, and then we take on Wycombe Wanderers on Saturday, March the 25th. Tickets for both those games can also be purchased by visiting booking.cafc.co.uk. Young midfielder Karoy Anderson has extended his loan deal at Aldershot Town by a further 28 days. Since initially joining them in the middle of January, he's featured 4 times in the National League, helping them to away victories over Solihull Moors and Maidstone United. Meanwhile, fellow youngsters Mac Riley and Sahid Kamara have joined Corinthian Casuals on initial 1-month loan deals. They both started the Casuals 2-2 draw against Hornchurch on Tuesday night. And we'd like to wish all 3 of them the best of luck over the next month or so. Well, Danny Sender's under-21 squad picked up a point at Colchester on Tuesday afternoon after falling behind. They levelled before half-time thanks to that goal from Australian fullback Matthew Dench. Should we say it's a good strike, Brownie, rather than the keeper should have saved it?
Good strike, mate, yeah. Well, you don't want me to get all negative before we even kick off there.
Daniel Kanu put the Addicts ahead late on, but by the time their celebration has died down, Colchester had struck an equaliser, meaning that the points were shared in Essex.
We'll call that one another great finish.
That's incredibly positive of you, Brownie. I love it.
Yeah.
The Charlton women's side have a Sunday off this weekend, and they'll be back in action when they host Birmingham City in their next game at the Oakwood on Sunday, February the 26th. Karen Hills' Addicts will be hoping to bounce back after losing at Sheffield United last weekend. Prior to that, they had won all of their previous 8 matches in all competitions. The tickets for that game are now on sale, and you can get yours from booking.cafc.co.uk. And finally, I think I'm delighted to announce that our former teammate Stewie Barmer will be travelling down from Scotland to join us on Charlton TV for next Saturday's game against Sheffield Wednesday. If you're watching, Stewie, we cannot wait to see you. And we'll have the subtitles at the ready as well. Chaps, we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
I've been texting him, so yeah. No, I made the initial contact to see if he was interested. He's going to try and make a weekend of it and go Tottenham, Chelsea. I think there's maybe some shenanigans on the Saturday night, but after Chelsea, Tottenham, he's hoping to go to on the Sunday, or Tottenham, Chelsea. But yeah. I mean, I've roomed with him for 7 years. It'd be great to see him again. It's one of the sad parts of actually football, isn't it? You get some great relationships, and when you finish, you'll sort of go back to where you were set when you were kids. And he's gone back up to Scotland with Alison, and you just don't get to see people.
He's
So
one,
it'd be
he's
great
one
to
of
see
those
him.
though, Curbs, isn't he, where it's like a lot of people. You might not have seen him for a long time, but once you see him again, it's like you're a teammate.
Yeah, but I think once his name was mentioned, everyone just laughs a little bit. Because there's always... Everyone's got a story about Stewie, and I'm sure I'm going to hear a few more.
So you won't be with us, you'll be commentating on the game, won't you?
Top, yeah.
Do you want to give us a Stewie story, or...?
Well, you'd have to give me time to think, because there's not many of them are...
Repeatable.
yeah, or they're gross.
I'm going to tell him the Scotty Parker story.
I'm not telling him hardly any, because he was unique in his character. And the way society has changed over the last 25 years, I'm sure we'll come under a lot of pressure if we were to tell any of the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to go out with him quite a bit on away games, teas in Erith, because he lived in Erith, didn't he? So, yeah. Anyway.
I mean, so many things going on here now. Those were the days when he didn't come in on a Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't come on a Sunday.
Lucky to see you on a Monday.
Social media wasn't around. I'm not even sure mobile phones were around at the time.
Lucky to see you on a Monday as well.
Anyway, we'll move swiftly on. Look, we normally don't hear from the opposition, but we are going to hear, because very kindly Rams TV have given us the pre-match interview of Paul Warne, the Derby boss. He's a former teammate of mine. Let's hear from him and what he's got to say about us.
What do you expect from Charlton at the weekend?
Well, my very good friend is manager there, and they have had some really good results over recent weeks. They've picked up, and the way they play, they like to control the game. They have a very good footballing side, but they do have very good outlets out wide, similarly to us. Really, they set up in a similar sort of way, and I do expect them to come here and attack us. I think it will have a different feel to the game Tuesday night, which might suit us, might not. But I think they'll bring the game to us, and they'll see us as a team they want to beat. Obviously, Charlton they are different. Obviously, they're a southern version, but there's a lot of teams in this league who have had touches of the Premier League, and their club is probably bigger than League One, and Charlton are definitely one of them. They've picked up, like I said, in recent weeks. And they'll see beating a team who are currently in the top six is a good scalp. So I know how motivated they'll be and how hard they'll work out of possession. So as with every single game, we'll have to be at our very best to beat them. And hopefully, with another day's prepping them tomorrow, we don't get any injuries or anything. We should be in a really healthy state, and the lads are in a good place. Brilliant in the meetings today to know what we need to do. And with a little bit of lady luck, we'll have enough.
When you have a relationship with the opposition manager, what are the couple of days like before a game? Will you send a text to try and get in his head? Will you not speak to them?
No, I won't say anything to him, really. It'd just be really great to see him before the game. And I always speak to the opposition manager before the game and invite him in for a drink, unless I really don't like him, which is not that many. But with him, I'll probably have more time, and if I see him in the tunnel beforehand, it will be a bit more casually, which would be nice. And I look forward to having a good chat with him after, hopefully with us winning. But I try not to be a bad loser. If we've lost, I have to be the better man. But yeah, so I look forward. I won't text him or anything like that. I mean, now you've tempted me, I feel like I need to, but I won't do any psychological warfare. He's too clever for that. He's a bit of an academic of the game, so I can't fool him with any wizardry. So no, I just look forward to seeing him Saturday, seeing his staff and having a chat with him after once the whole game's gone.
Yeah, I tell you what, Warney, he's done so well. He did my running for me in Rotherham. He was like left winger. I was left back.
Left winger, was he?
Yeah. Well, he was right-footed, but he played on the left.
Many forwards become managers, don't they?
No,
Really?
well, he became a fitness trainer and then was asked to be the manager. So he didn't even apply for the job.
Yeah, okay.
They wanted him to be the manager.
Where was that?
At Rotherham.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's, done a lot of promotions there, you have to say.
Yeah.
So...
And they headhunted him, didn't they?
Absolutely, yeah. And in some respects, they thought many thought it'd be a little bit ruthless on Liam Rosenior because he was doing a good job. But when you know someone has done it and won promotion from this division multiple times, do you have to be ruthless and get the right man in?
Yeah, well, I think change of ownership as well, wasn't there, and etc. Yeah, it was a bit ruthless, but it's worked, hasn't it? They've picked up, and he's done a really good job.
It's one of those clubs where, I suppose, like Sunderland, obviously they didn't want to spend as many years as they did, but they want to get in and out quickly, don't they?
Yeah.
So you have to be ruthless.
There's so many clubs like it, aren't there?
Yeah.
So many clubs like it, and just we keep talking about it anyway, how strong it is, the league.
And in terms of relationships of managers you come up against, what was that like? So it looks like they were
It was interesting when
quite
he
good
said,
friends.
there's some I don't like. I think the ones, there was a few that there's absolutely no way he was going to entertain them.
You want to name names?
Nah, not really. You could guess. But but the biggest problem was the farm manager, trying to not educate him, but for him to understand the culture. Because you are coming into our league, and it's our culture. And, the thing about having a chat afterwards and having a drink and whatever, the farm manager didn't really understand that. It must be a little bit cold in the leagues they play in, but surely they came over, and I think Wenger was one that really didn't really understand it and didn't want to do it. Benitez was another. Mourinho came in and took it on board. He understood that was part of it, and I'm going to get involved. And it is a chance to have a chat and and get to know managers, because that was when perhaps the power of the transfers and the deals and everything was going away from the manager a little bit, and sporting directors were being introduced. But to have that chat and camaraderie, and if you are in a little bit of trouble and you're trying to loan a player, you can go to someone that you've had a conversation with.
Could you be quite open with the manager, whether it be going for a certain player or just, I'm going for a tough time here, and then you could have that conversation?
Yeah, because we all know the pressures and how difficult it is sometimes. So that relationship, it petered out for a little while. I don't know where it is now, but it did peter out, and I think the British managers worked ever so hard to get the foreign manager in, and some did, some took to it, some didn't.
It's a lovely custom, to be honest with you, managers coming in and just having a chat when you've just done battle. But he's done a really good job, Paul Warne, hasn't he, since he's gone in?
Outstanding job. And you said earlier about you have to be ruthless, and I think that you have to get the right man at the top, and it was a massive risk. But he has got a proven track record in League One. Done very, very well with a club smaller than Derby County. And they've watched him go through the leagues. He was holding steady in the Championship with Rotherham, and they've declined, I think, since he's left. And I thought it was a great appointment. I mean, their record under him at the moment is outstanding. Their home record is formidable. And I know they've just dropped points against Lincoln, but they were absolutely on fire. They're still 2.2 points a game home form. And I've been saying for a while, Bolton and them are the two that could cause an upset if Plymouth or Sheffield Wednesday falter. They're just hovering there, just waiting to pounce. But we'll see.
I agree, and that's why I'm slightly concerned, especially if we put in a performance like we did on Tuesday today.
I think it's a totally different atmosphere.
I hope so, and a totally different performance as well. OK, after his red card was rescinded, Ryan Innes helped the Addicts to a clean sheet on Tuesday night. And Charlton TV caught up with him only just yesterday.
Ryan, heading to Derby on Saturday, but first of all, if we look back to Tuesday, a hard-fought win, I guess, is probably the best way of putting it. What were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, absolutely. It was. We knew it was going to be a tough place to go on a Tuesday night, obviously with them at the foot of the table. Game of two halves for me, really. I think we dominated the first half, made good use of the ball. We probably should have scored another goal, I think, on reflection, but we wasn't naive. Second half, we knew they had to come out and show fight, which they did, because everyone's competitive. And I think in the end, Ash makes a great save, like he did at Exeter, and gets us to 3 points. Listen, I'm chuffed with 3 points, but there's a lot to take from it, but also a lot to learn in terms of seeing games out, or when we're dominating so much in the game, kind of getting a lead that's far more comfortable, because I'm sure we put the fans through it as much as the coaching staff.
What was the talk in the change room afterwards? Because like you say, we started brilliantly, probably should have scored some more goals, didn't, and then in the end we were not hanging on, but were a little bit on the back foot at times.
Yeah, I think it's obviously, like I said, it was similar at Exeter. Listen, there's no easy games in this league. It's 3 points. You can never turn your nose up at 3 points, but we're always looking, especially recently, obviously, to get the 3 points firstly, and look back and see how we can improve as a team and as a squad as a whole, including the subs coming on.
And as a central defender, a clean sheet against your name, how pleasing is that, regardless of how it comes?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I give plaudits to Ash Maynard Brewer, who's been excellent. But yeah, I'd like it to be a lot more comfortable. I know we can't pick and choose, but we certainly had our backs up against the wall last 10 minutes, and they had a few chances. But yeah, it's a clean sheet. I feel like we haven't had as many as we should have this year for a number of reasons. But like I said, we're always looking to improve, and it's another one in the bank, and hopefully we can get many more.
Since Dean's come in as manager, it's 5 wins in 7 now. And since he's been with us, the playing style has changed a little bit. Do you feel like that amended playing style brings the best out of you?
I think there's more than one approach to the game. I've enjoyed, firstly, like I say, I've enjoyed the different styles that I've been put under. Obviously, I've been fit this year, which has been great. But the gaffer's come in, he's instilled confidence in what we already had in the group, and made some changes. But I think belief's the main thing, and a real fight amongst us, and team spirit. But yeah, we've made some changes on the surface, and I feel like we've got a lot more resolute. So we are saying we are giving up chances at in the games that we want to work on, like I said previously, but we're standing tall, everyone to a man, whether it's lads coming on, lads starting games, new signings. There's that real steeliness about us, and we want that to continue.
There was a couple of things you mentioned in there. The first one, fitness. You've played a lot of minutes this season. How do you feel like you're in a good place physically at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I take each game as it comes. I've always wanted to play a huge part since I arrived at this club, and I've said it before, no one chooses to be injured, no one wants to be injured, and yeah, it was a frustrating time, but that's behind me now. I look forward to the game Saturday. I've selected, and many more to come. I think there's 15 or 16 left, so I just want to play as much as I can. I feel like a kid again. I had a long time out of the game, stop-start, so yeah, long way to continue.
And as one of the more senior players, do you feel like you have a role to play here at the training grounds? So away from match day, in terms of driving those standards, keeping people upbeat, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We got some real leaders in it. Obviously, skipper Dobbo's drives us on the front foot with that, but I think it takes more than one person, so you don't need the armband just to do that. I think there's, like you said, myself, I take pride in trying to push standards, but the more the merrier in a sense. We've got a lot of lads that do that, and we just can't let those slip, and keep looking to the next game and pushing what we can do out there on a training pitch. But the gaffer's massive on it. One of the first things he said when he come through the door, so he's always reminding us as well. So from all angles, we're hopefully moving in the right direction.
Someone we were just talking about off camera is Jezrak Saki. Tell us about him.
Where to start? I said to you, didn't I? I said I'll probably pester him. I actually texted him last night. I was, yeah, I'm just in a little bit of awe of him, really. I said to him, I'll probably annoy him, but I think he's a top player, and he's done a lot for us this season. I hope he can do more, and I think he's going to go on to great things. But like I said to you, I think with 23's football, and it's hard. It's easily forgotten how young he is, and he hasn't played men's football before, and he's turned out Saturday, Tuesday for us, and really stood tall, and I'm pleased for him getting the plaudits that he deserves. And I think he's still got more in there. I think he can get bums off seats, and he's a great lad on top of that. So yeah.
I was just going to say, sitting up in the stands when he gets the ball, yeah, he is bums off seats kind of player. For you on the pitch, I don't know if there's an equivalent to bums off seats when you're on the pitch.
Well, but yeah, it's actually a bit of a nightmare, really, because as a centre-half, you need to be concentrating. How can we box him in? But when he gets the ball, it's hard not to be a little bit dazzled. So you're he drops his shoulders, you're going with it a little bit, and all of a sudden, if it breaks down, you're like, oh wow, I was just watching a game. So yeah, we need to concentrate more when he gets the ball, or he needs to stick it in the back of the net more, and then we can wheel off celebrating.
And as well as it being 5 wins in 7 for us, it's also 3 away wins on the bounce. Derby to come on Saturday. They drew on Tuesday, but before that, they'd won 6 home games on the bounce. what are we expecting from them?
Listen, we had a meeting this morning without giving too much away. It's all about belief. So, yes, it'll be a tough game. It's away from home. But like you said, we've won away, we've won at home. We want to go there and give a real good account of ourselves. I feel like we've done that in away games in the past, but not quite come away with a result. So if we can stand tall, get a footing in the game, and then, like you said, we're in good form as well. So I think it'll be a great match. But one to look forward to. They're the games we want to play in.
Very best of luck.
Ta.
He's a good lad. Whenever I speak to him, I mean, you're always looking up there. He's about 6'5", but he's a really good lad. Fair to say he's looked more comfortable, Curbs, since Dean's come in
and staying fit. That's the biggest problem he's had, isn't it? I mean, him and Chucks over the last couple of seasons. As he said, no one wants to be injured. It must be, really tough playing a couple of games and coming out again. But he's had a bit of a run now, and except for today, he said he was hoping he was going to play this week, but. I think perhaps Dean's had a look at the history and probably thought, perhaps I'm going to just change it and, perhaps bring the two of them back for the home game.
Again, it might be that sort of 3 game a week. You talk about him and Chucks, and both of them have had their injury problems. Yeah. But it is great to see him fit and available, even if he is on the bench.
Yeah, I think one of the frustrations is he's spent large periods of each season up to this point missing. And you don't need that because he is quite a pivotal player. Set piece wise, he's strong in both boxes. He defends ours well. He's a threat the other end, and it was frustrating because it was always like a muscular injury. It wasn't anything. You think, come on, and it's great to see him have a full year. Or let's fingers crossed it's going to be a full year. Because I think it's important for him mentally as well as the team and the fans to see him get through a whole season without an injury. So that's a real plus for him this season. I think. He must give Dean, heart palpitations at times when he miscontrols on or he just slips. There are moments in games where you go, and he just pulls it back, but that's the risk and reward, I guess, of building up from the back when you've got, players who sometimes don't look as comfortable. But, certainly when you ask him just to do his job, he acquits himself very, very well.
He mentioned Jez there, didn't he, and about being in awe of him. Let's touch on Jez a little bit. I mean, how well has he done at the moment, and how much do we rely on him?
Well, top goal scorer, isn't he? And we've said it since he's been here. The reason he's here is to learn about the game firstly. Play against men instead of playing in the under-23s, etc. Make mistakes, which we've seen, but also to show people what he can do. And when you look at Palace, whatever, it's another Premier League club that are lending us a player in London. He can still live at home. He can travel to the training ground, travel to here, and play football. And as I said last week, make mistakes like he did. He scored a goal and cost us a goal, all in the same game. And he's here to learn and grow up. And we're grateful that he's come in. And from the moment he's come in. He's been a breath of fresh air. If we can get him the ball in the final, him and Corey Blackett, if we can get them two the ball in the final third, you do expect something to happen, don't you? You do expect something to happen. And the great thing I'm liking at the moment, I don't know if this is down to Dean or it's just happened, is that the two wide men are starting to come inside, and both of them are getting in the box, which I think was a big criticism. That one was perhaps crossing and the other one was still outside the box. Well, how are you going to score any goals? But Rasaki recently has been getting in that 6-yard box.
Yeah, both key players are wide players, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think both are at probably pivotal times. If you look at Rasaki, I think if we'll see him out to the end of this season, he's going to continue to do well for us. Next season, they'll try and loan him Championship because he's proven himself in League One. If you look at their wide players, Zaha, Elise, Eze, they all look twice as strong as him. So that's something he's got to develop. Yeah. And he'll develop that as he grows older. You naturally bulk up and that will come. If he's going to compete in the Premier League, he's definitely got to bulk up. But for now, he's doing a cracking job for us. Blackett-Taylor's the same. And I will say praise to Blackett-Taylor because one of the question marks over him was fitness and stamina and then consistency. And he is showing a little bit more consistency now. The performances are more 6s and 7s, and he used to dip down into a 4. And then bounce back with a 7, and now he's hitting the mark more often. So they are certainly our two main threats.
I think the thing for Corey Blackett is fitness again, isn't it? Staying fit and playing the 90 minutes. But obviously, the Derby manager was talking about some of our strengths, and he must notice that if we get in the final third and them two are on the ball, something might happen. And if I'm a midfield player, I'm thinking, I'll get in the box. You know, it gives me a bit of confidence that one of them two are going to do something. I'll get in the box, because who knows, when it comes in, it might just pop down to me.
Yeah. Absolutely, and that's what we saw at Forest Green, didn't we, at the weekend, about get the ball out wide, and those two wide players can be dangerous. And again, Curbs, on the goal itself, it's about one winger getting past his fullback and the other one coming in.
Yeah, and we actually get 3 or 4 bodies in it, don't we? Oh, it's a great run, isn't it? And Corey Blackett's come in, and I like the way that he's not gone where everybody else has gone, he's just stopped. And that's what happens. Sometimes you just stand still, and that's the best thing. And he said, but it's a good build-up. It's a great goal, actually.
And well, look, we said it wasn't a classic, and it wasn't, but it is 3 wins out of 3 on the road. How important is it, Brownie, we build on that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it's important we got some wins away from home, because our away form was atrocious. So it's good that we've become solid and difficult to beat and start winning away from home, because it's like Curbs have been saying, you know, the pressure was on the home form, and as it goes, it's dipped. So vitally important we started to get more points on the road. And like we said, you know, we were really poor second 45. We didn't attack it at all. Yes, of course you expect a backlash from the home team who are fighting for their lives, but we've got to be on the front foot more. We've got to get the ball forward quicker. We didn't put them under pressure at all second 45, and we were hanging on a little bit. And actually with better finishing, they would have comfortably got a point out of this game. So, you know, but all you can do is pick up those results, and hopefully it breeds confidence. You know, and hopefully, you know, you listen to Ryan Ince talk there about, you know, meetings they'd had and belief. Surely getting results brings back a bit of belief, whoever you're playing against. But that was I don't know why he didn't slide that to the side of Ashley. But
yeah, are there games, Curbs, where sometimes you just think, actually, there's no point in over-analysing that? We got away with it. Yeah. We won. Yeah. We crack on to the next one.
I mean, that's a huge.
That's what I'm saying. They'd have got on the bus and gone, we got away with that. But, you know, we've outplayed some teams and got nothing. So you like to think it may, you know, you hear that a lot, even itself out. Yeah. But for me, you know, get on the bus, you got the 3 points. We've got 2 really good. Now, Brownie's a little bit wary today, aren't you?
I'm wary. I'm wary. Yeah.
Look, they're a good outfit. The stats, you know, speak for themselves. He's made 3 changes, and he's changed fullback. Actually, I just wonder if that is to take care of Raksak. He's brought Sibley back in for Roberts, and he's put a youngster in at midfield. I mean, they're strong down the spine. They have a really strong spine. Hourihan scores goals. McGoldrick scores goals. Collins has come out of the team today. You know, Hourihan, McGoldrick and Collins had 32 goals between them, straight down the middle of the pitch. Collins has come out. McGoldrick goes up front, and he's brought in Harvey White, who's a young central midfielder.
Good support.
Around 1,500 fans have travelled.
Good support.
It's great support, isn't it?
Yeah.
800 missed out on their Valentine, or maybe they didn't. Their Valentine is Charlton. But 1,500 this weekend as well, supporting the team. So, any Stewie Barmer stories, by the way, Brownie? You've had a couple of
Not repeatable anyway at the moment.
Okay. Just wondered if you had time to think about...
toothbrush ones, there's all sorts.
We don't want to know that
Can
one.
he watch us in Scotland?
He won't be watching us.
Can he watch us?
No.
He can watch this bit, but he's not going to watch now this unless you pay £10, with which you hope you all do, Charlton fans. Look, it's 5 wins out of 7. It's 3 straight wins on the road. Let's see if we can make it 4 against a very good side. Your commentary team, Terry Smith and Greg Stubley.
Thank you, Scott. You join us at Pride Park as the Annex kick off, attacking from left to right towards the Charlton fans in the corner as opposite us, and Scotty Fraser picks it up in midfield. George Dobson in support. It's now right.